Welcome back to Engineering Unfiltered. Today we are going to discuss Android beginners interview questions. If you are an intermediate or advanced level who has experience in Android questions, I think you can skip. But if still you want to know about some of the questions that are asked in the interview, you can still proceed. So let's begin. So the first question that comes up in the interview, even if you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, is what is activity lifecycle? Activity lifecycle provides some callbacks that are called when the activity state changes. So the crisp answer to give in the interview is onCreate method is called when the activity is first created. Here you initialize your objects, your data, you inflate your UI, you bind the data with the UI. The onStart method is called after the onCreate once the activity is created. Now the activity is about to come into the foreground and it is visible, but it is not interactable. Now the onResume method is called when the activity is visible and user can interact with it. Once the user starts interacting, they may go to another activity or they may close the app, which will call the onPause method. This is called when the activity is partially obscured by another activity. The activity is still visible but not in focus. After that, the onStop method is called the activity is no longer visible to the user. It can be either destroyed or resumed later. So let's say once the user comes back to this activity, onRestart method is called before onStart. If the user does not come back to the activity, the onDestroy method callback is called, where user can clean up the resources. This is mainly called by the user when the activity is finished, or by the system, or by configuration changes. So that covers our activity lifecycle question. After the activity lifecycle, the most frequent question asked in interview is what is fragment lifecycle. So it is mostly like the activity lifecycle, but there are some additional callbacks provided in it. So let's begin. So the first method we have is onAttach. It means the fragment is being attached to the activity. You can do your work here related to that. Then we have onCreate. It means you can initialize your data here. Then we have onCreateView. Here you can inflate your VUI. Once the UI is created, we have a callback that is onViewCreated. It gives us the created view instance. Then we have onStart. The fragment is about to be visible. Then we have onResume. It means the view is visible and interactable. Once the fragment goes into the background or some dialogues pop up, we have onPause. It means the fragment is not focused now. Then we have onStop. That means the fragment is not visible now. We can do our work here to save our data or anything. Then we have onDestroy view. That means the view is being destroyed. You can clear your resources here related to views. Then we have onDestroy. You can clear your resources like player and all here. Then we have onDetach. That means the fragment is being detached from the activity. So that covers our fragment lifecycle. The next question is, what are custom views? Custom views are user-defined UI components that are created when the developer needs a custom appearance or a custom behavior in a view that is not existent. So a custom view can be created by combining the views that already exist or by creating a new one altogether. So it can be created, the second point states, unique UI elements. So it means you create custom view when you need a custom appearance or custom behavior, right? So it has unique UI elements. Then we have custom drawing, how the view is created, how a custom view is created. So to create a custom view, first of all, you create a new class and extend the view class with it. After that, you override the constructors, especially those that take context and attribute set as parameters. After that, you override the onDraw method. If you want to draw your appearance of the view custom using shapes and all those things, then you have to override the onDraw method. You can also override the onMeasure method to specify how your view should be resized. So that's how you can create a custom view in Android. The next question is, what is Work Manager? A Work Manager is a part of Android library which helps you schedule deferrable tasks asynchronously, which can help you run tasks when the app is not visible, app is not running, the phone has restarted, like that. So it has three parts: Worker, Work Request, and Work Manager. Worker is a class which you create which specify what the work will be done. Right? Then the work request is an object that is created that specify the constraints when the work has to be executed, like when the battery should be greater than this, when the phone should not have been restarted. After that, there is Work Manager. Work Manager is the API that schedules and manages the work given to it. Like once our worker and work request is created, we will give it to the work manager. It will run it when the conditions are met, when the constraints given in the work request are met, it will run them. It also manages all the works which are created by other apps and our app. So that covers our work manager. So next we have communication between activities. How can we communicate between activities? So there are multiple methods that we can try to communicate between activities. Some are favorable, some are not. So let's go one by one. So the first one is intent. Whenever we are switching activities, we switch through intent. We can pass the extra data in the intent so the activity can communicate. Then we have bundles. If we have a lot of data and a complex data too, then we can create a bundle. We can put the data inside that and we can give that bundle to the intent while switching the activity. So the another activity can take out that bundle. Then we have activity results. So activities can also communicate with the results. What are results? So let's say I go from activity A to B, then once I'm coming from activity B to A, activity B will give me some data that I will give activity A as a result. So there's a communication happening here. Then we have shared preferences. Shared preferences store data in the XML format. So activity A can store some data there, activity B can read the data from there, and they can communicate like that. If we don't want to go through shared preferences part, we also have singleton class method, where we can create a singleton class. Singleton class are those whose object is created only once and the object is shared among all the classes in the process. So once the singleton class object is created, activity A can update their data, activity B can read the data from the same object that is created for that class, for that singleton class. So the communication happen the two ways here. So that covers our communication between activities. So I hope you liked those questions. I hope you liked the explanation. If not, you can give the feedback in the comments. These are the questions that are most likely asked to beginners in the interviews. So if you are having an interview soon, so I hope you ace the interview and stay tuned for more. Bye-bye.